Good afternoon and welcome to this informational video on replacing the bearings, the upper bearings on a KZ3 Showa rear dirt bike shock. This shock is off a 2003 cr250r, and the reason I'm doing this video is when I was trying to do this, I didn't find much information on how to replace the bearings, how to get the seals out or anything like that. There's a lot of information on how to take the shocks out of the bike and so forth, but I really couldn't find any specific information on this particular shock off this particular bike, which I said was a 2003 cr250r Honda. And so I thought I'd make this video after speaking with a few people and getting some information, your local shops. And by the way, if you go to a local shop and ask them some information, man, you might we need our local shops. You might offer them some money for the information or buy something at their store. But anyway, I asked around, I got the information, and was able to do it. So I thought I'd put this video together. Anyway, enough said. These seals in this eye on this shock, if I can get the shock stable here, right here on these seals, right here on this seal, on this shock, if you'll just get a small screwdriver or a pick or something, you can pop that seal out. And after you take that seal out, on this dampening compression reservoir side of the shock, once you get that seal out, there's a small ring in there, a small wire key ring that holds that bearing in. And like I say, once you pop that seal out, there's a little ring in there, and you just get a pick or whatever you can get and groove it out and pull your ring out and save it. Your new bearings may come with a couple of new rings. Mine did. If your bearings don't, you just simply get a bearing in the seals and you don't have the ring. Be sure you don't break it or bend it. Just, take it out very carefully so you'll have it. Okay, the key to this is on this particular shock, the KZ3 Showa shock off of 2003 cr250r. When you turn it over, this side of the shock, the opposite side of the shock from the dampening compression reservoir, this side of the shock, inside that eye is a seat. There's no wire ring holding that side of the bearing in. There's a seat that bearing goes up against, and your seal simply presses over the bearing. So you compress, not drive, but you compress your bearing out from this side. Also on this side, to pull the seal out, you just get a little screwdriver or pick or whatever and pop it out. And then at that point you can put it in a press or vise or whatever and press the bearing out. You want to make sure, and let me show you right quick, you want to make sure that, I'll show you the old bearing here. You want to make sure, as I turn this sideways, you want your socket or whatever you're pushing that bearing out to go here. You don't want it to go, you don't want your socket on top of this. You want it on this race right here. You don't want it on this. You want it on this race. When you go to press it out, right there, that's where you'll want it. And be sure and remember, there again, I said I'm showing you this when I said press it out. You don't press it out from this side. You press it out from this side. Both seals pop out. The reservoir side will have a small wire key ring in there. You pull it out, turn your shock over, pull that seal out, put it in a press, and press the bearing out from this side of the shock. And on your seals, you will have two seals, and if you'll notice, one seal is larger than the other seal. Okay? One seal is larger than the other seal. Your large seal will go to this side of the shock that's opposite of the reservoir. Once again, your large seal, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm wrong. Your small seal will go to this side, the side of the shock opposite from the compression and dampening reservoir. Your large seal, if I can show you, your large seal will go on this side. Large seal goes on this side. Small seal goes on this side. And be sure to maybe put you some marine grease in there in the inside of the channel, right in here, inside that channel before we put the bearing and the seal in, all inside this channel. Just put some grease, you know, some marine grease or whatever you choose to use. But anyway, that's the bearing replacement information on a 2003 cr250r Showa shock, the upper bearing. It is the upper bearing. The bottom bearing is on the linkage side, and there'll be another video on it later. I hope this helps you, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.